Our next author is actually one of the authors I have had the pleasure also of being a client of. We have so many amazing teachers and experts that come to the Author Academy. And one of the great joys of my life is I meet these people before they get super famous. So this is somebody who, if you haven't heard of and her book speaks to you, you will know she is somebody you will want to work with too. She has an incredible message about the power of our bodies, the power of our sensuality, the power of the truth inside of us. She is the author of The 9 Pillars of the YONIVERSE, Attract Amazing Clients as a Female Tantric Practitioner. Please join me in welcoming Palki Mawar. Palki, come on out here. Hello. I'm so excited to talk about this book. I know how powerful your message is and your work. You really wrote this for other tantric practitioners like yourself, especially women, in attracting amazing clients. Why did you write this book for those women, and why do you think tantric work is so important?
Well, thank you, Angela. I've written this book for women simply because it makes me really sad when a gifted woman walks away from her sacred path. And I know quite a few of them that have done that. And I just think it's really sad when someone does that and another person takes their place who is not doing very great work and is actually causing harm. So
So a lot of people don't know what tantric work is. So can you just explain at a base level, what is this work you're referring to?
So to put it in a nutshell, tantric work, it's very wide. So it's hard for me to wrap everything around it in one sentence, but I would say it is a deep connection between your spiritual and your sexual self.
Yeah, I would say that for me, the reason I decided to work with you is I had sort of a diagnosed from multiple different people I had worked with, kind of a separation between my sacral and my heart chakra. So my sexuality, my creativity, my source, but then also my heart. I'd sort of chopped myself off at the waist and separated those things. And I think so many of us think sexuality is something we should push aside, keep in the bedroom, focus on, go, 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 setting goals, getting things done. But I think the work that tantric practitioners do is so powerful in terms of recharging your creativity. I think a lot of times people might think of tantra as like, I don't know, sexy time, which is a piece of it. But really, for me, the work we did together was about finding your creative power. It's so much more than just like, you know, having sex or something like that.
Yeah. And I think what really stood out with our work together was that disconnect between our sexuality and our hearts. And I think that's a place, since I also see the heart as, you know, the place where spirit resides, and it's really sad to see that disconnect. And it can be frustrating for a lot of people, so to find that connection again and to feel free to be all of you, to be your sexual self, and to embrace your spiritual self. That is what Tantra brings, just the gift of being all of you.
Yeah, and so many times it can be misinterpreted, and I don't know, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but misused.
Misused, that is quite big, simply because there's a lot of vagueness around what Tantra is that allows a lot of practices that may be unhealthy or actually abusive to take their place. So I think my main, what feels sacred for me is to bring sacredness back to this practice.
Yeah, I love that. Bringing sacredness back to Tantra. I've definitely watched you make that commitment in your life and with the people you work with and your own tantric practice. So super grateful to that and so excited about 9 Pillars of the YONIVERSE. Nicole Parsons had a question for you. Nicole from Parsons, Kansas had a question for you. She wanted to know if you could start your book journey again from the beginning, would you have done anything different?
From the beginning, since I'd already written this book prior to working with you, yeah, I would look around for a person like you. I had a whole book written that I've had to just put away. So I think it really helps to have a process to bring your passion onto paper. So I think that's the only thing that I would have done.
So your book was already done. Why didn't you just publish it? Like, why, if, like, I think Nicole would be thinking right now, if I already had a book written, I would just publish it and it would be done. Why wasn't your book published?
Darn. Well, that's brutally honest. That requires me to be brutally honest. I got rejected simply because my message wasn't as clear. It was to everyone. So I believe that the person that needed to see themselves in my book wasn't able to do that. And it probably, came about when I sent it to the publisher that I did.
Yeah. Nicole, this was a perfect person to ask this question to, because she basically did restart her journey and she did it differently. Most people, when they do it on their own, do exactly what Palki did. That's because Palki's great at being a tantric practitioner and not great at knowing everything about how to write a compelling book. And so most people try and reach a wide audience, which is what she did with her first book or her first manuscript. When we got together, we said, focus on one aspect on this. Get really clear on your message. And by getting really clear, she was able to finish the book and get it out into the world. So Nicole, she did restart her book journey. She did something different, and that is she got really clear on the purpose of the book and who she was writing it for. And here it is, the 9 pillars of the YONIVERSE. Attract amazing clients as a female tantric practitioner by Palki Mawar. Palki, congratulations on your book.
Thank you, Angela.
Great job.